What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way, and welcome to my archives. This is kind of a new experimental thing. Not really. Like I've done something similar to this before, but it's just a fun spin on it. I got into my DeviantArt account recently, mostly to just archive everything and then delete it. It's been around since like 2013, and yeah, you know, she lived a good life, but I don't know if I fully appreciate my art being around with DA's current policies there. So I grabbed all of that art and I currently have this lovely assortment of folders. Don't worry about the health of my computer. This is all in a separate volume, separate storage space in the computer. But I figured it would be fun to go through and kind of randomly select pieces from like one 2-year range that I have selected here. Obviously, as you can see, we've got 2013 to 2014, which doesn't have that many. Unfortunately, I deleted a lot of art from that time, so there's like 4 pieces there still. 2015 to 2016 and 2017 to 2018 have the most files. The most. This one has like 78 and this one has over 100. I figured that we would start here, and specifically that we would start 2015 and 2016 because it has been almost 10 years, if not exactly 10 years, which just makes me feel so. Please come join me, and we will take a look at some of my old art. There are some things in here that I probably might skip over, like stuff that comes from other people's characters. I did a couple of those, but I did archive those just for the sake of it. But yeah, we get to see some of my old art and what Teenage Odd was up to in this circumstance. I would have been about 16 or 17 in these years, obviously. So we have 78 files here, so I'm just going to randomly generate a number between 1 and 78, and we will pick a random one, and if I don't like it, then I'll just choose another one. So first number, boop, 21. Okay, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 24, 1, 2, 7, no, 7, 14, 21. So it's this one. Oh, it's an animation. I was wondering if I was gonna get an animation. Oh my gosh, let me see if I can't. But yeah, let me show you this file here. This is an old animation that I made. It's just a dog shaking a flea off of its head. I hadn't thought, like, I didn't think that I would get an animation so soon. I made a few animations, and it has been a good couple of years since I have animated. So, you know what? I could do this. It's fairly simple. It's not nothing. And animation is hard, and it's been years since I've animated, but I think this will be fun. Maybe a little bit hard to record, but I'll figure it out. At that, though, I guess that I will get a start on this and show you what I've done with this. I think I'm just gonna do the one, especially because it's an animation, but I'll pop you guys over to Speed Paint voiceover, and we can talk a little bit more about my process when we get there. So, see you there. Since I am definitely rusty when it comes to animation, and I haven't really made one in CSP, after one failed try and a few tutorials, I went in first with a simple, comic-like storyboard in my standard canvas size, which I pasted over into the animation file. I thought I might take a longer approach with the dog scratching to start, but ultimately I decided to stay mostly true to the original animation, but I started and ended the loop with the puppy sort of panting or head bopping. One big change is obviously the character itself. Almost ironically, I seem to have made the dog younger. I think the original version was a now defunct original character I made, but this one kind of turned into more of a generalized puppy, almost. I do think it wound up much cuter, and the fluff added some dynamics to the movement. One thing that hasn't really changed with my experience in animation, which isn't all that much more than it was then, I tend to do like 3 sketch layers to get the idea of what I'm working with. Obviously, here we had the storyboard, then a first pass at trying to get the movement and timing down, then something that made it look a little more cohesive, and finally the lines, which also included more alterations. I also decided to keep it just as lines, ultimately for the sake of time, and let's face it, my sanity. I think that was the idea for the original piece as well. I think I remember trying to do something more elaborate and then kind of giving up. Even though I made a few more animations around this time than I do now, it's mostly because my current output is basically 0. I remember really only doing animations every few months when I finally kind of forgot my initial struggle enough to try again. The main takeaway I got from going through my old stuff is that I seemed a lot more ambitious and experimental, though. Not to say I don't try hard now, but I definitely had a big variety of output and art. The channel has definitely helped in the regard of my making stuff, but I feel like on my own I have definitely slowed down in volume for my art. Quantity isn't exactly quality though, and I do remember feeling like my art was kind of discordant when I was younger, which was probably why I got rid of so much of it. I hit a wall when I was about 18 or 19 and burnt out hard. Not even just artistically either. I was in kind of a rough space mental health wise when I graduated high school, and in some ways I feel like I'm still recovering from that. Obviously, the major world events like COVID weren't much help there. Regardless, I think seeing this older stuff has definitely left me wanting to make more diverse art and just play around a little bit more. I may even fiddle with animation a bit more seriously too. That being said, this process was both kind of enlightening and also frustrating because it immediately started getting easier to notice my mistakes, while time was prohibiting me from going back and fixing them. I guess the deadline helps in some regard to prevent me from letting perfect be the enemy of good or done, but I think that if I were to go back, I would probably find some way to better smooth out the head bob entry, and it doesn't quite feel like the flea is flung off in the animation, though maybe it's funnier if it just hops off to ultimately hop back on again. I had a similar experience making a hat in crochet, actually, where it was like, God, I can feel and see myself getting better, but I've frogged this project like 4 times and I just want a hat, so maybe actually exactly like this animation project. Just the unfortunate markings of improvement on a very time-consuming thing. But this is my finished animation, a whole 3 seconds at 24 frames per second with over an hour's worth of work per second. The whole thing is obviously about 72 frames, but maybe like 28 or so unique frames. I'm definitely a little rusty, not like there was much to rust to begin with though, but I wound up having a lot of fun. I hope that you did too. Leave a like if you like this video, and of course you can always subscribe to catch other fun art challenges. I do like this in the future. At that though, I'll leave this here, and I'll see y'all next time.